everyone, and welcome to another video of Eat Well with Allergies. So, today's recipe is for a blueberry cake. So, let's just get started. So, the ingredients you'll need is, I'm actually doubling this recipe, so I'll tell you that the regular recipe, and I'm just basically doubling it, because my family really likes this cake. So, you're going to need 1/4 cup of butter softened. So basically, you can either warm it up a little bit in the microwave so it's not totally melted, or you can basically set it out overnight if you know a specific day you're cooking. You're also going to need 2/3 cups of sugar, an egg yolk. For me, it's basically, I have this egg replacer, so basically I use a little less water to make it thicker because egg yolks are usually the thicker part. And I also added a little vanilla into this, although that isn't in the recipe. You'll also need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of baking powder. I know it's a lot, but it's necessary. And you are going to need, for the flour, you're going to need a 1.5 cups of flour. And for blueberries, you're going to need a cup of them. You can either use fresh blueberries or frozen blueberries. I'm using frozen. And you're also going to need a cup half a cup of milk. I'm actually using the blueberry juice from the frozen blueberries. I did that in the blueberry cobbler, and it actually turned out really good. Although my family says it looks burnt because it's like a really dark purple. So I'm actually using, this is a combo of milk and blueberry juice because I didn't have enough blueberry juice to do a whole cup, but it still works. So let's get started. So let me start my mixer camera, and I'm going to cream together the butter and the sugar. And this is really softened butter. I basically left it out overnight, so this is really softened. If I can get all the butter off. And then I'm going to pour the sugar in and basically mix them together. And start at a really low speed. And the softened butter really helps the process of creaming the two together. It just helps it a little bit. Now I'm going to add the vanilla, egg, salt, baking powder, all that kind of stuff. So this is if you're like using, I use egg replacer from Amazon. So they use a combo of things like different flours, all that kind of stuff. So there's different recipes for an actual whole egg, an egg yolk, and a egg white. So just mix that in. And I'm going to wipe down the sides of the bowl, and then I'm going to start adding the flour and the milk. Mix that one more time. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding, I'm going to mix the flour and the milk together incrementally. So I'll start with the flour, then I'll add some milk, flour, milk, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just adding back and forth. Milk. Okay, now I'm going to lower it. You can see that wonderful purple color. And now I'm going to add some more flour. That really big noise besides the mixer is actually our humidifier, which I forgot to turn off. So. So I'm gonna wipe this down a little bit because some of the stuff is sticking to the sides. So right now it's like a really thick cake batter. So once I add the rest of the flour and basically add the milk when the flour is mixed in, I'll see what we have. Now I'm going to put it on a low speed and add the rest of the milk. My spatula, get all that stuff in the bottom. It's like a really thick cake batter basically, because this is a blueberry cake. So I'm basically gonna get that off and mix it one more time. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour, actually, let me move my camera into this a little bit. So I'm gonna maneuver my camera over my greased cake pan. I basically just sprayed a cake pan in 9x13. You actually might use a little smaller one because I'm doubling the recipe. So I just oiled or spray oiled a cake 9x13 cake pan kind of. So I'm just wiping down the paddle real quick. And then I'm gonna try and get as much as I can off the sides. I'm going to pour half of it in here before I add the blueberries to the other half. So that's about half, because if you just basically add the blueberries to all of it, it will basically stick to the bottom. If you add half of it now, when the blueberries sink, and they will sink, they won't stick to the bottom. So just try and maneuver it as much as you can out to the edges. It's very difficult because you have an oiled cake pan, and the oiled cake pan doesn't want it to move. So just gently maneuver some of the cake batter. Now I'm gonna add my cup of blueberries to the batter, and I'll gently mix those in. For fresh blueberries, you do have to be careful that they don't like burst or whatever. But I can be a little less gentle with frozen blueberries. And now I'm gonna add the rest of the mixture on top. So the batter and the blueberries. And you can see that's like a really purple color. Some of the juice from the blueberries got into it. But that just makes the batter a little thinner. Now I have to try and get all of it in without knocking the camera. So let me try and get all of that I can out of the bowl. And I think I've got most of it. So there's what it kind of looks like. Now I'm just going to maneuver it out again. This does take a little maneuvering. I'm just doing this little circle motion that pushes it gently. And because there's like a tablespoon of baking powder, this will rise a little bit. And just try and get those blueberries everywhere you can, like into the lighter dough. You can see the color difference, I think. So let me maneuver this a little bit. You can see the color difference from here to here. There's a big color difference. So this is kind of like blue, and this is really nice purple. And now I'm gonna bake this at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes, and I'll see where I am at then. So I'm gonna stop that camera, and I'm gonna put this in the oven for, I have no idea why that's in there, but probably one of my siblings forgot to take it out. I'm gonna put this in the oven for 45 minutes. So the actual recipe that I got this from is from, I think, my great-grandmother, and she just said moderate heat, and moderate heat basically is 350 degrees. So I didn't know what moderate heat was until my mom told me. So I'm gonna bake that for 45 minutes at 350, and I'll basically see you in 45 minutes. See you then. Okay, so I had to bake the cake for about 55 minutes, so basically about an hour, because the batter wasn't done, and you can see that rose up quite a bit because that tablespoon of baking powder. Now, in this video, for some reason my iPod didn't work, so I couldn't get a mixer view. So in this video, sorry about this, but I couldn't get the mixer view working, so you'll probably just have to follow the recipe. That's basically it. And for my next vote for you guys choosing what I bake, the choice is between dried cranberry muffins and gingerbread cake. Now, people who like gingerbread, maybe ignore the thing that just fell down, my reminder card. But people who like gingerbread taste but don't like actual gingerbread, this is the thing for you. And for people who like cranberries and don't like, I guess, actual cranberries, but those are the muffins for you, I guess. But I couldn't get a mixer view on the camera, so sorry about that. But the cake did turn out well, and you can put powdered sugar and all that kind of stuff on it, and it looks really, really good. So that's basically the end of the video. Please comment, subscribe, visit my Facebook page, all that kind of stuff. And I'll see you next time, where I will make either dried cranberry muffins or a gingerbread cake. See you then.